And assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for joining.
Walaikum assalam. So excited to be here. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm excited to have you. How was your morning?
It was great. I just woke up, had my breakfast, and
Good,
was
good.
just looking forward to this meeting. Yeah.
MashaAllah. So I've been watching your videos for some time now. I think I actually found you through Mufti Mink because Mufti Mink shared one of your posts, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
MashaAllah. That must have been quite a realization when you go onto your Instagram and realize Mufti Mink shared you.
Oh yeah, it was like a beautiful experience. I was just randomly just making salad in my kitchen, preparing my food, and all of a sudden I was like going through my messages, and
Uh-huh.
somebody has said that, "Oh, Mufti Mang shared your post." I was like,
No
"Are you
way.
lying? Are you lying to me?" So I went to his page and checked his story, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is me. This is my post." I literally, I remember I was like jumping around, like literally, I was jumping.
Sure,
I was
you
like
must be
really
super
excited,
excited.
really happy. I was like, is this even true? So he really liked my post. And then what happened was that afterwards, I shared it, of course, I shared it on my story that Mufti
Mhm.
Bang shared my post.
Yeah.
And, and then I happened to talk to him in DMs too a little
Oh,
bit.
nice.
So he was like, you deserve it. May Allah bless you. He gave me like so many du'as. I was like so
That's
happy and
amazing.
thankful to that he shared my post. So it was amazing.
Amazing, mashallah. Mufti Minky just seems like one of those really nice guys. Like you feel, even though you've just maybe watched one of his videos, you feel like he's your friend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I told him afterwards that I'll make a post on him, like, a
Mhm.
post about Mufti Mank later on. And I did that and he shared it again too. I was
That's
like, wow,
amazing,
yeah.
mashallah. What was the original post that you made on the whiteboard that he shared?
It was seven people who will be under the shade of Allah on the day of judgment.
Okay.
So that one he initially shared, and then the second one was about him, like how like it was about like why Mufti Meng shared. He shares like a lot of like his lifestyle story, like videos. I mean posts.
Hmm.
So that's what I make a post about, like why does he share those kind of posts on his page, and
That's
yeah,
awesome. That's
yeah.
amazing. So, like, I think you're most popular on Instagram, and the series that your Instagram primarily does is like you share information through holding a whiteboard, and it has like some kind of spiritual reminder or some kind of spiritual knowledge on it. So, how
Yeah.
did and it's actually really original because I've not seen anyone else do that. So, how did you come up with the idea to share knowledge in this way?
This actually, I have seen it a lot, especially
Okay.
here in America. Like it's just like a random thing. Like people just take whiteboards and write their messages,
Mhm.
and then they just like take pictures with it or something. I mean, if you go to the hashtag like Whiteboard Wednesday, you'll see all these posts like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's a whole hashtag on it.
Yeah.
Plus, I have also seen like some accounts do this, but I've never seen like that. And I've also seen a account that was only posting the text version. No, there was like nobody holding boards or
Okay.
whatever. And that I really like the idea because when you swipe, left, you could complete the whole message. So I really like the idea that you start with like one message and then you scroll through. So it kind of like engages the audience. So
Hmm.
I really like the
Yes.
idea that
Yes.
okay, people would want to like swipe through and read the whole thing until the end. So I really like the idea. I was like, okay, maybe why don't I just combine these two ideas together
Mhm.
and then come up with like a content.
From
So
a yeah, from a marketing perspective, it's brilliant. It's I don't know if the right term is gamification in the sense that you need to hook them with that. Do you ever consider, like, because my background was marketing, do you ever consider that, see the first whiteboard you hold, that's the one that needs to capture their attention?
mhm,
Like either through, with branding, they go into some a serious amount of deliberation and studying with this, like colors and text and
right,
keywords, like buzzwords and things that's going to catch their attention immediately. Do you ever put
right.
such thought into that for like making your post stand out or whatever?
Sorry, what?
Do you ever put that kind of thought into making your post stand out with like putting extra focus on that first slide to get people's attention?
I mean, my idea is basically about grabbing attention by posting like some sort of like a question, like a curiosity question,
Sure.
that okay, why does this happen, how does this happen, like, so that kind of grabs the attention of the audience, and that would want them to like scroll through and read like what's
Amazing.
next. Yeah.
Amazing. It works, and I've actually got like quite a lot of like knowledge and benefit from your posts, and I think this is actually really an amazing evolution of the Dawah, because I talked to my uncle, and this uncle of mine, he's kind of like there's many alhamdulillah religious people in my family, but he's kind of like that elder that we give the respect to, and if we need guidance, he's kind of that person we talk to.
Yeah.
And he tells me of back when he needed to get spiritual knowledge, it was he had to go get videotapes of Ahmed Didat and put that in a VHS. Whereas now, like me and my younger sister, we're learning things that he didn't know. I mean, see, with me, like
Yeah.
I can watch like a 30-minute video of Noman Ali Khan or Zakir Naik or one of those guys, but my little sister, she, the 30-minute videos, it's too much for her. See, the stuff you're doing is perfect for like this kind of audience who are kind of grown up on social media and they need the fast information, especially like this like TikTok stuff where you can just learn something in 10 seconds. Like you can just learn what a word means, or you just get a name of Allah without any like elaboration, just here's quick pieces of knowledge.
Right. And yeah, like, I mean, I of course I grew up like without this whole like social media and everything, and it was like super hard even at that point. Like when I was in Pakistan, like back in my country, there was like no such resource to like get instant sort of information right at that point. So I think the technology like has played like a really good role in that sense, that okay, we get to experience this so fast, like in our fingertips all of a sudden. And TikTok is really amazing. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff on TikTok, but then when you really,
just like everywhere on the internet.
Exactly. So even if you don't talk on TikTok, you can still deliver the message of Allah.
Yep.
So I really like that point.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I actually wanted to start with just reading something from your website on your About Me section.
Yeah.
So on your About Me section, it says, Assalamu alaikum, I am Rabia Mahmood, born in Karachi, Pakistan. Later moved to Chicago, USA in 2006 during a low and dark period of my life. Allah guided me to the right path, and I began to practice this peaceful and beautiful religion, Islam. Being in the company of Allah and worshipping Him over the years, I realized that connection with God is the true purpose of life. So there's a few things to touch on there, but first, going from Pakistan to Chicago, what was that like? That must have been like a bit of a culture shock, right?
Oh yes, it was. In Pakistan, I mean, we learn English and everything, right? But it's like not fluent as. So I like learned the whole like accent and everything when I came here, and it was like really hard for me to like adapt to the culture. I made some like Pakistani Indian friends here, so that kind of helped too in a little bit. But then later on, I started making like friends of like from other races, and that really helped me like grow, learn the culture and different cultures and everything. So it was a cultural shock, but it took probably about, I don't know, good 2-3 years for me to like get adjusted to US. So yeah.
Sure, I can imagine. I mean, see, like I'm also Pakistani, but I've been well, I'm mixed race, so my mum's side is Scottish, but from my dad's side, we've technically been here for 4 generations, because it was my great grandparents that first came from Pakistan to come to Scotland. And see, for them living like a Muslim society and a Muslim culture around you is Islam, and then coming to the West, I think it was kind of difficult for some of them, because the way they taught the religion to the next generation was in a way that was kind of, like the way that was taught to them by their parents, but the way it was taught to them was relevant to kind of their own life and their own fitna and their own culture. Whereas here, like, so I think this transitional period was a little bit difficult for 1 or 2 generations, because they were keeping these old routines of teaching in a new society, but now the fitna is different. Now the surroundings different. The things you're being exposed to are different.
Definitely.
So like, but you, alhamdulillah, like, you know, because you're like that for you in your family, you're like of that first generation. So was that like a really difficult adaptation of maintaining the Islam, or?
Well, growing up, to be honest, when I came here, I was not a practicing Muslim at all.
Mm,
So and I was like living here since like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. I
mhm,
think I can't remember at the time, but it was a long time ago.
mhm,
But then I even living here, I was not like really super practicing. But then when I got into this whole like Islamic and religion and everything, that's when it was probably about 4 to 5 years ago
mhm.
that I started recently. So it was not like something that I was practicing in Pakistan and then came here. So I didn't feel any difference
So
because
your
I was
Islam actually grew here in the
yes,
US. That's
yes,
amazing.
yes, yes. I learned everything here. Everything like started from zero, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, over there in Pakistan, I mean, there is some culture of like some religion, but it's not like how we practice. It's not like how I practice now.
Sure.
So it's like very different. Very very different.
Was there something particular that motivated that start of? Because see, the other thing I wanted to say is in your about me section is you say, I don't want to misquote you. It was something along the lines of you now realize that the purpose of life is to worship God. So how did that realization come about? Because like, see, when you go from kind of not spiritual to spiritual, it changes everything. It changes the center of who you are and what your purpose is,
Right.
and
Right.
how you spend your time and the kind of relationships you build and how you represent yourself, even the way that you dress. So was there something in particular that inspired that change of direction?
Yeah, so it happened all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
It was not anything like gradual over the gradual period of time. It was not like that. It happened all of a sudden because I was basically attached to this thing that that went away from me, basically. So I was hit by a hardship, and that's how I basically changed. Like I took like a whole 180-degree turn, and then I started like looking into Islam and everything because I was like so
SubhanAllah.
attached to this thing. And when that thing went away, I went into depression,
Mm-hmm.
all like way worse. I hit the rock bottom basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really really hard for me. Took me a lot of time to like come out, and that's when I realized, okay, I started looking into Islam. I started looking into like those lectures and
Mm-hmm.
information on internet and everything. So I started like researching about like I was trying to find answer to the problem that I was going through, that somehow I could just find answers, which I did through Islam. And those kind of like that's when I fell in love with this religion, and I
Amazing.
started like practicing. Then I started researching about like the nafil prayers
Mm-hmm.
and like what are the benefits of these. I was like, wow, like this is so great.
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly but surely, but then I started to wear hijab too. I wasn't wearing hijab at all, but I started to like do that.
Mm-hmm.
It just came in my heart that I should do this. Like this is,
SubhanAllah.
it was like a beautiful feeling. I
Yeah.
cannot describe this feeling, but I was like, okay, I don't care about anything else. I just want to wear a hijab.
Amazing. Well, you know what I really loved about what you mentioned is you lost something, and see when you lose something, especially something that is like with a lot of people, that can be a relationship, or it can be like a job, or it can be like something they identify themselves as being, or in fact, inshallah, tomorrow I'm actually meeting a guy who became religious after becoming paralyzed. So
No.
people, I've heard stories of people losing a relationship, and see when you're in something, like you lose something that you actually define yourself by, like I am this kind of person who has
Right.
this, and then that is taken away from you. There's a kind of moment of there's that feeling of loss and emptiness, and there's a focus on that inner void, but then there's what do we fill that with? And I think it's really with I don't want to say with age, it's better to say with maturity, because some people, their age increases, but they don't realize this. And I heard an author I really like called Jim Rohn talk about this being one of like a great sign of maturity, is
Mm-hmm.
that you can have like appreciation and patience with the things that you lose. And even to say, you know, God, I thought I wanted this. I thought this was who I was and what I was supposed to do. But now instead we say, God, thanks for closing that door on me. Thank you for closing that door. I now realize that that's not a door I was supposed to go through. I thought what was on the other side of that door, that's where I wanted to be. But you know what, God, you know better than me. You know that what's on the other side of that door wasn't for me. And you've opened me up to something else, which is far better. SubhanAllah.
Yeah. And another thing is that Allah designs himself like the hardship, and it hits the person directly. I think it's the Arabic term like musiba. That's exactly means that it's designed for a person to hit on target. So
Yeah, on
when that
target,
hit,
that's right.
yeah. And it was like specifically for this reason. I highly believe that it was just for this reason, and this is why I started. And there was just like drive within myself that okay, I went through this and I found the beauty of this religion, so I wanted to like spread out good words out there on internet to people that this is our religion. This like there's this mentality, especially where I came from, Pakistan. Like there's a lot of misconception when it comes to religion. So I kind of wanted to like highlight that too, that okay, this is not religion, this is the religion that that I wanted to like portray. So
Sure. Well, I mean, see, from that hardship you faced, think like your YouTube channel has like 40,000 views. Your Instagram has like 90,000 followers. How many likes to each one of your posts get? How many people have benefited from it? How many people have contacted you and said, "Oh wow, thank you for showing me that." And that all came from one hardship that you faced, that you had to endure, and how many other people, subhanAllah, have had a benefit from that.
Right. And that reminds me of the story of Yusuf al-Islam, like how he went through this whole hardship and everything. And then what was the outcome? That he saved a nation from losing food and, all of that stuff through his dream. So he benefited the community. If he was not to, go to the jail and, being a slave or everything, the community wouldn't have been saved. There would be a lot of like loss of life and loss of crop. So yeah,
SubhanAllah,
reminded me
amazing.
of that.
Yeah. I think there's a real kind of patience and strength of character in going through hardships. And as you said, it hit right on the target. Like it was supposed to happen at this time. Like we weren't, like I wasn't born on the year that I was by accident. God knew that that was the time. The fitna of this time was the fitna that I was supposed to face. The hardships, everything, like it was all planned out. And I think, see, when people, they don't have that spiritual connection, alhamdulillah, if you've got a spiritual connection, alhamdulillah, because see, when you go through hardships, you feel a sense of purpose and a sense of kind of being tested. And there's a kind of patience and strength that you get with that.
Yeah.
And just in the same way that, if we want to become stronger or fitter or faster, we need to exercise the body. That kind of decisiveness and connection of spirituality and sense of purpose, that is exercised through our dua and through our salah. And alhamdulillah, that's something I'd say that I kind of got when I started practicing the faith. But see, when you took that journey and you started practicing the religion more and you started performing your salah and making dua, did you feel something different in you? Did you feel like you were fulfilling something that was otherwise missing?
Oh yeah, definitely. I felt I don't know, like I felt the deeper connection with Allah, that I felt that he was with me all the time. And I mean, I could just, how this is how I normally do. Like I talk to Allah a lot, and as a friend, not in the form of dua, but in the form of like, conversation, stuff like that. So that brings you like, really close to him and the whole deeper connection. That's like my main thing too. So yeah, when I normally like, do my salah and everything, of course I feel that the void I had, it's like filled with the remembrance of Allah. So yeah.
Sure. Another one is like, see, when we're making salah and your head actually goes against the floor, there's something, I talk to people about this, but there's like a special feeling you get of like the tension and the stress, like it's being released.
Right.
Like there's a kind of cleansing feeling.
It's actually like scientifically proven too that when you bend down this way,
Mm-hmm.
your stress hormone levels are like, yeah, in place. So that's
Really?
actually
I had no
what I
idea.
do.
I had no idea of that.
Uh-huh. And I really like, there's this one thing I do that I'm like very, very stressed or depressed. I just keep my head down in such that for like good 5 minutes.
Wow.
And that solves like pretty much 80% of my, anxiety and worries and everything. So it's just, it works magic, honestly.
Subhanallah. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Okay, so before we started recording, you were just telling me a great story. So you were kind of producing Islamic content and stuff, but wasn't something you were taking too seriously. And then you were a follower of yours reached out to you, and they said that how they had been benefited from your content, and
Mhm.
that inspired you to keep going. And um, with that flame, now you've got this abundance of followers and people who are tuning in and reading your content and becoming more knowledgeable from it. So when did this become something that, was it right then you started taking this really seriously, or was it more as you started to grow, or were there any other kind of defining moments in this?
Um, so basically I started posting since I was going through the whole depression area, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started posting on my main account, which was like my personal account, to be honest, like since the very beginning. So I started posting that, and then like quotes and ayahs of Quran that would like comfort me. So that's how I started posting it, and then and I all of a sudden made my profile public. So that's how I got a little bit of following too at that point. Then I went on YouTube. I made some like videos, and people like those too a lot. So at one point the depression got like really really worse, so I stopped everything
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't be myself when I'm like out there, you know making content, whereas I'm like very depressed and everything. I just couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it got like very overwhelming and everything, so I stopped at that point. I was still taking it seriously,
Mm-hmm.
but then this whole depression hit me again, and then I just completely stopped, and I just wanted to focus on my career. Um, and I was just doing that for like a year and a half, and I kept going. And then this one of the followers emailed me saying that like, we miss your content, like can you just come back, like because of you we started talking to Allah. It was like
Subhanallah,
really
amazing.
inspired me, really, doing that. So I was like, wow, like that really hit me at that point.
Of
I was just
course.
actually working on my computer.
Wow.
I was at work and I read this email. I was like, wow, like just because of me, somebody else started talking to Allah. Like, how big is that?
Of
So
course.
I was like, no, I just want to continue this now. So I went back and I started again, whatever followers I had at that point. So I
Mm-hmm.
started again and again. I started posting. Um, I mean, people were still liking it, but then this idea of whiteboard came, like at one point. So then it really, really started to grow, and I started getting more
Subhanallah, I love that.
following.
That's amazing. I just want to say, so like you were making that content, and inshallah, that's going to be someone who testifies for you on the day of judgment. Someone who says, "My connection is stronger thanks to Rabia." And another comment I just want to make on that is, see that person. Maybe they were thinking, "I'm going to message this influencer, and maybe they'll read it, maybe they won't read it, and if they do read it, maybe they'll just say, 'Oh, cool, that's good thing.'" But little did they realize you were kind of going through a depressed stage, and that person uplifted you. And not only did it uplift you, it inspired you to go on and keep producing content. So see that just
Yeah.
like small piece of gratitude, that small bit of appreciation to Rabia, Jazakallah khair for making the content that you do. It's made my life better. And then subhanAllah, it's motivated you to keep going and inspiring other people. I just think that's really, really amazing.
Yeah. And I'm through, and even that person is probably getting so much reward just because of
Inshallah.
the
Yeah.
email. And then
Inshallah. Yeah.
basically it's not, I'm probably like the middle person, but she was the main person who, messaged, and then she might get like the whole reward for whatever I'm doing and inspiring the whole community. So
Inshallah.
it's amazing.
It's amazing. I wanted to tell you what my favorite video of yours is. My favorite
Yeah.
video you made is the one with the baby bird.
Baby what?
The baby bird that you found.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
That
it's been
video
a
was
year since
awesome.
I Yeah, the baby bird died.
Oh man. Oh my gosh. My sister said to me, she says, ask about the baby bird story. And I was hoping maybe you kept the bird or maybe the bird went free, but that was an anticlimax.
Yeah, it was like a wild bird. So what
Yeah.
happened was like, it got injured somehow. And I was trying so hard to like take it to like a vet
Mhm.
here. But here in America, you have to have like an insurance for them to
Sure.
see the animal, right? The
Mhm.
bird or whatever. So I didn't have insurance because it was like a wild bird I like found on the sidewalk.
Sure.
So it was not like something I bought in the store or anything like that. So I didn't have like insurance or anything.
Mhm.
So I tried calling so many, vet places like
Mhm.
clinics, and nobody would take it. Like nobody would take it
Oh
as
my
long as
gosh.
you don't have insurance. I'm like, they don't take wild birds. I mean, it's just like an animal. Like you gotta go treat
Mhm.
it. Just treat it. But nobody here was helping me and nothing at all. So I mean, it eventually died.
Did you keep it until the end of its life?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I did.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
How long
yeah.
did it,
I tried my best.
how long was it in your possession for?
Not long. It was probably like a week or two.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was it. Okay.
yeah, yeah. It was a baby bird, so it didn't know how to fly or
Mhm.
go anywhere. So yeah,
You
that
know what I liked? So I love that whole series of videos, like series videos where like there's this YouTuber, I can't remember what he's called, but he has a video where I think he finds like a pet baby duck and it doesn't have any parents or anything. So he puts
Uh-huh.
it with the chicken and then the chicken becomes the duck's mother. And like see these
Aw.
like videos where it shows like an animal growing up, like a little baby parrot or something. I love those videos. Just even I saw that video of yours, I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you
yeah.
know what really caught me about that video is at the
Yeah.
beginning of it, you said two things. You said, I recently you just felt like holding a bird. And the other thing you said is you said, Allah, give me a chance to do some good. You said, Allah, give me a chance to do some good.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to hold a
Yeah,
bird.
yeah, yeah.
And those two things came together and you got a baby bird to look after.
Exactly. Like I was just thinking like a week before that
Uh-huh.
happened, I found the bird a week before I made dua to Allah that Allah, I just feel like holding like a, bird. That
Mm-hmm.
just felt like that. Um, so it was the time of Dhul Hijjah too.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I want to do like some good deeds and everything too. So that kind of like, was kind of like,
It all
met
just came
together. And
together.
then, yeah, I got
MashaAllah,
an
amazing.
opportunity to do that. So I was like, that might just happen just because of that, dua I made. So
That's
yeah.
amazing, MashaAllah. Okay. Another thing I like to ask. So when I kind of started this podcasting series, it was starting with, well, I have this Guinness Book of World Records beside me, and the way it started was I just flipped through it. I thought to myself,
Mhm.
why don't I try reaching out to these guys and contacting them? And
Yeah.
my first handful of guests were all like world record kind of people, and it was kind of the podcast was mainly to do with self improvement and personal development, but then I found kind of empty talking about personal development without talking about Islam. And it
Right.
kind of, alhamdulillah, more recently led me to talking to the Muslim influencers, which
Uh-huh.
I'm loving, and I love networking with you guys. But a question that I extend to all of you is, what is your favorite surah of the Quran? But in your case, I think I know the answer.
What is it?
Surah Mulk.
So I'm like, oh yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I have this whole I don't know, what should I call it?
I
Campaign?
saw you posted. Yeah, a campaign. I guess I saw you posted on your story a few
Yeah,
days ago on
yeah.
Instagram. It said DFTRM. What can you guess what it means? And I was looking at that like, don't forget to read Malak.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people guess that right. Correct. Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
I just post this reminder every single night. I try every single night to post it as a reminder to remind people. And surprisingly, there are a lot of people who read it, and they message me. They ask me like, they just tell me like how they started and how much they're loving it and everything. And I remember I created this survey at one point. I think last month I did it, like how many people read Milk, because I don't know, like, I mean, I just put a reminder out there and I just wanted to know how many people actually read it. So I think it was about like 1,200 people,
Well,
and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I was like, yes, I want to continue this, and I'm planning on, inshallah, like, to um do this survey every once in a while just to like check like how many people are new to this, how many people are that. So I try my best to like, tell the benefits of it too. And I made a whole video on it. I made a whiteboard post on it too. So I mean, people love it. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people surprisingly didn't know about it. I mean, I didn't even know about it, the whole milk thing. I got this from my mother.
Mhm.
So she reads milk every night. So this one point, I think 4 years ago or something, like she told me about it, that these are the benefits. And then all of that stuff. So I was like, wow, this is nice. And I randomly started posting on my stories too that, okay, I mean, if I'm doing something, let me just post it out there. Maybe somebody else could do it too. So I started posting and people started like, reading it too. So like that became this whole thing. So every time somebody thinks of milk, they message me like, okay, it reminds me of you. So I was like, wow, this is
Amazing.
nice, mashallah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Mashallah. That's awesome. Okay, I just have a couple of like smaller round off questions for you.
Yeah.
Nothing too difficult. What's a piece of advice you've been given that you've never forgotten?
Oh, so here's this one. This is a hadith, so it's not like I got an advice from somebody. Well, I'll actually give say
Okay.
two things. One is that there's a hadith that Prophet Muhammad said that if you run after this world, if you make your concern this world,
Mhm.
that you'll be never be able to like, get it. You'll always be, full of anxiety, full of worries and everything, and then it'll go away from you. The world will go away from you the more you run after it. But
Mhm.
if you run after the akhirah, Allah, and the whole religion, the world will come to you. Like people will come to you, people will like appreciate you, like, so that really like sticks in my mind. So every time I'm like, it feels like I'm very like, I have like very anxiety, and if I'm like running after something in the world, which is normal, which is like a normal human nature, that people run after certain things,
Sure.
and that hadith corrects me, that reminds me, it puts me back into the right mindset. So I really like that idea that if you run after this world, it'll go away from you, but if you run after Allah, it'll come to you. So and then the
SubhanAllah.
second thing, I got this advice from my mother, that do not ever depend on anybody else in this world, like physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. So I practice these things a lot, and it has helped me so much. So this would be the advice that I would like to give, that do not ever, ever, ever depend on anybody else.
Great. Those are some good pieces of advice.
Mm-hmm.
Next one for you is favorite book. Now, I used to ask this to the like my previous podcast guest, but with the Muslim podcast guest, obviously we're going to say the Quran. So, favorite book outside of the Quran.
I am not a book reader at all.
Okay.
I don't read books. No, I try. I have tried it in the past, but
Yeah.
I always get sleepy. I always get. I'm a video person,
Okay.
so I don't have any book to recommend. Honestly, yeah.
Okay. What about you said you like videos? Are there any like influencers that you watch or that inspire you?
Yeah. The main one is Naman Ali Khan.
I
I
love
really
Naman
like.
Ali Khan. I love him.
Yes, love him. The
Do
way
you have
he.
his app? Do you have his app, BTV?
I've subscribed to this Bayana TV, right? Is that what we're talking about?
It's
Yeah.
about $10 a month or something.
Yeah. I have
Amazing.
it on the website, but I don't have an app for it.
Yeah.
But I love it. Like the way he takes like a verse of Quran and does the tafsir is like amazing.
Yep.
Like wow. Like I don't think anybody else does it like that deeply. Like he
Yep.
literally picks up like Arabic words and explain it. And I'm like, wow, that
Oh, it's
he
amazing.
really inspires me.
So just for anyone who's like listening to this, on the BTV app or on the website, he has there's a course he does called Divine Speech, in which he tours
Uh-huh.
around and he gives this, and he's got the whole video series. I think it's like maybe 11 hours or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite extensive, but the case he's making is that it's impossible for the Quran to be from anyone apart from Allah. Like this book is inherently divine, and the case he puts forward for that is beautiful. So the divine speech is amazing, and there's a part where he goes through the surahs. There's so much content on this app. He teaches you Arabic. He
Yeah.
teaches you so much stuff, but his breakdown of the Fatiha is amazing as well.
Yeah. I actually happened to saw his watch his Surah Mulk one.
Hmm.
The whole tafsir he did on that Bayna TV, and that really like it was like amazing. One of the points that really stuck to me was that when he said that at the end of Surah Mulk,
Hmm.
all pretty much all of the verses start from like kul. So he was kind of like, okay, he's done talking to the kafirs, then he just wanted to like focus on Prophet Muhammad and tell him to tell them. So it was kind of like in sort of
Amazing.
an anger from Allah that he doesn't even want to
Wow.
bother talking to them. It's just like, okay, you tell them now. So every verse starts from like kul. So I was like, wow, it's amazing.
Amazing. That is amazing. That is amazing. Another one that I'll just mention on Numan Ali Khan is he has on YouTube his free content. Two of probably my favorite videos. There's a third one. There's a third favorite video, but I can't remember what it's called, and I can't find it anywhere. I think it was
Uh-huh.
called something like the religion of our father Ibrahim alayhi salam, and he talks about how all of the five pillars come from him. I can't remember what that video is called, but the two
Okay.
which I do remember are the heart of a
Mhm.
leader and Muslims under pressure. Those videos are inspiring. Muslims
Okay.
under pressure, I think I've watched that like 7 or 8 times. It's an
Uh-huh.
amazing series.
Wow. Yeah, he does have a lot of great content. And I was watching his Ramadan series,
Yeah,
which was in Urdu. So I love that too. And I was like, wow.
amazing. Okay, last question is, do you have a favorite quote?
Quote. Ugh. Quote. Well, I recently made a reel about it. That was I read this quote somewhere. I don't know who said it,
Mhm.
and I don't know where it comes from. But it said that Allah does not sees us from the above. You know how we think that Allah is above us and He's like watches us from the heaven. That's how our mind works, kind of. But then the quote said, Allah does not sees us from the above. He sees us from within ourselves. So I thought
Amazing.
that was like really beautiful that okay it felt that I was deeply connected to Allah and it felt like Allah
Wow,
sort of he can
amazing.
relate to me and he sees me from within, he knows what I'm feeling, so
Allahu
it's
Akbar.
not just like
Amazing.
he's watching from on top.
Amazing.
He sees us from within us, so I really
Amazing.
love that.
That was a beautiful piece of advice. Before we finish up, where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram, the main channel, Rabia_M_Baig.
Sure.
I am on TikTok too, same username. I am on Twitter, same username. And you can also find me on YouTube under
Amazing.
the name of Rabia and Baig.
Cool. Well, I'll put all of your links in the description of this video, but thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me. It was fun talking to
Yeah,
you.
had a lot of fun. Thanks.